The shims. So this on the extrusion, this rib right here, our shims in a perfect world need to sit right at that
edge.
right there. We care more about the outside than we do on the inside, but it needs to sit just barely on that, so when I come by, I'm getting enough, like even this one is out too far. And the other problem is if you guys are caulking them in, I can't move them after we've gotten them in. Or if the holes are in the wrong spot and I can't move because you know how they're horseshoe shaped. You only have a little bit of
Yeah,
you only
yeah,
got a
so
little,
much blade.
a little bit of it, especially on like the small, like 2 inch system where we have the little horseshoe ones. And we got nowhere to go. Sometimes we need to cheat the holes back.
Yeah.
Just a smidge. Because if I try to come in there with my multi-tool and do a bunch of stuff, damage is gonna ensue and we're gonna have issues. Yeah, so like I said, half as deep as it is wide. So basically that almost works out to what this rib is right here. Some of these, well, let me show you right here. Or, this is another good example. I'll put my finger right here. Instead of just trying to, guess where it's gonna go, I just cheat this. You can kind of see where the back rod's at. That way I'm not. So.
You don't want to pull on it either while you're doing it, right?
What do you mean?
Like, you don't want to, while you're stuffing it, you don't want to be pulling on it.
Oh, no, no.
You don't want to stretch it.
No, I just let it hang.
Thing.
Let it hang. Yeah, because this is good. Yeah, you don't want to do that. So then, yeah, so basically what that is, that's just to control your, and what it also works as is, so all this stuff's going to be moving, where there's earthquakes, heating up, because when it does heat up, that's why we have these expansion joints. Everything moves and ebbs and flows, so if we get any scissoring, like this routine, or this, or when it expands and contracts, it's adhered to this side, and it can freely move over the back of it. It's not adhered to the back side, it's just adhered to this side, which can allow it to do this routine, or this, or whatever it wants to do, and it won't rip itself apart because it's not adhered on 3 sides, and that's where this comes in. If there's an area where I'm trying to caulk, or I can't get back right in it, like I just did a job in India where the guy shoved the drywall out through the inside 90, out the brake metal, joints where our brake metal were. So I had to get my multi-tool and trim all that back. Well, I didn't want to sit there for 12 and a half hours trying to get it back enough where I could get a 7/8 piece of back right in and my joint. So I just trimmed it back to where I could get it to without destroying too much stuff, and then laid this down over it, so it's going to act as my back rod as well.
Okay.
So if there's areas where I can't even get back rod, but they still want to have, you don't want what they call 3-sided adhesion, which means it's adhered here, it's adhered in the back, and it's adhered on the side, because it won't allow for any movement, and it's going to split at some point. Taping. So everybody's always like, where do I put the tape? Where do I put the tape? So the easiest way to figure that out is we know where the tape goes on the sills or the jambs, because you have a nice 90 corner on here. This is a different story where you have this radius, right? So here's an easy way to, when you tape them, stick it on your hand like this. Find, especially if you're an old man, it's really a lot harder. Find where that edge is at. You want to be right on that edge. And so when you're taping, what makes, for me, why I do this is that you always want to push the tape one way, because if you try to do this and go back, half the time it's going to fold up on itself and it's not going to work. And when you're doing this, especially if it's dark or whatever, you're trying to tape, especially if it's bronze metal with a black piece of back rod in there, it's hard to differentiate where that edge is at. So it's real easy to do. I just do this little peeker. Oh, where's that edge? Oh, there it is. Come right down to it. Where's that edge? Oh, where's it at? Oh, it's there. Oh.
So your tape is flush on that edge?
Yeah, you don't want to, well, for this application, yeah. Sometimes, like if I need to make a joint and do other side, you'll see me not, yeah, you'll not see me go to that. But then again, this has to be back farther. I can't, maybe I can come out to here and maybe get up on this a little bit, but if this is flush, like this is too hard, I can't make my slick. Unless I want to make a Band-Aid and go like this, if I, you know what I mean? Anyway, That's a whole other animal. So when it comes to this, the easiest way to simplify this is when you're gonna use whatever slick out big you wanna use. For a new guy, you just set it on here. You're gonna be dragging it like this, set this on here, and then you wanna take a look. Where is the edge of that piece of that slick gonna hit on that metal? So for the most part, if this is pretty flush, it's gonna wind up a little past halfway. And the other key thing to this stuff is, when you put your tape on, you wanna try to keep all the lines perfectly as parallel as you can, because when you come back to tool it, if the tape is all doing this routine and you come back to tool it, when you come back to tool it, you're gonna have to compensate for that, or try to, if you give a shit. But once that tape is set nice and parallel, once you set your slick on there and it's right where you know where it needs to be, all you need to do is this. You're gonna be cutting the caulking off right to that edge and right to that edge. See that? And then Pedro was asking, well, sometimes I see you doing all this kind of stuff. Well, if I'm doing a joint or I'm trying to get a big long joint out, sometimes I can't maintain the same angle right there. So you will see me doing, moving. What I'm trying to maintain is this outside edge right on the edge of that tape. Because if I come here, if I get this bigger slick, if I come back and tool it to be like this, and that is winding up way out there, when I come back to pull that tape, there's gonna be a big ass edge. But sometimes you might want that. So in some cases, I'm doing what they call a Band-Aid, where I want a little extra caulking in it. So when that happens, and like on the face of these, where you see those little things I'm doing, I want to leave a little extra. So what happens, I'll leave that, tool that, but I'll use this as like when I come in to cut it off, if I pull it like this, straight out, especially in today where it's 115 degrees and the stuff's already drying before you've had a chance to pull tape, it's gonna start pulling all the caulking out of the joint. Yeah. What you wanna do is use this, pulling straight back on itself, to use this to cut it off as you're going. Don't like this or pull out like that. Okay. Right back on itself. That way it's cutting off the caulking right there as you're going. If you're doing this routine, it's all this stuff's gonna come out this way and it's gonna be a complete horror show. It's like today out there on Locust, or even out in India, by the time I'm going from here to here shooting it, it's already skinning over. So in that case, what happens is I'll overshoot it a little bit and basically just cut off all the bad stuff and then tool it real fast. And there's sometimes we don't even have time to come back and tool it again, because once even that first run of cutting out, you come back and tool it again, it's just gonna be it's gonna look like it's horror. Yeah. All the skin is gonna be, what they call skin, is gonna be stuck in there. Which means it's already semi-curing and it's all dried up and looks like little chunky pieces. Okay, then we'll go with this real quick. By the way, who's taking this? Because I want to use that. Next time I'm just gonna.
I'm gonna shoot it to you.
Where's the screen to broadcast it on, and I can just watch. On my YouTube channel. Somebody said, you should start a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
No.
People like that actually
That's what
money.
Do TikTok.
Why not?
That's what
Have you watched the roofers?
what Anthony was saying.
I
I'm sure we're playing
You
guitar.
watch the HVAC guys.
No YouTube channels. So,
Get over 1 million followers.
no, I watch all the YouTube guys, and they're way more talented than me. Especially you got to be a video and whatever guy too. You just can't be a guitar player. So when shooting this stuff, you shall cut a nice like a tip on the angle.
Yeah.
And then you don't want to try to shoot it with the angle like this, because then when you shoot, it's going to leave a bunch of more than you need out the back. So you have that angle, and you're going to use that to like cut off the caulking as you're going, but you're not really cutting it out.
See that place?
What you want to do is just be sticking, as soon as you're shooting, you just want to see that little bit coming out the back side, just a smidge. And that goes back to when you've laid your back right in there, it's been all on the same plane in the back. Once you're shooting it and you realize, okay, this is how much pressure I need to push, it's a whole lot easier to shoot it than if the back rod's back there and it's this deep here and way in here and you're just all...
You gotta fill it a couple spots.
Yeah, once it's nice and uniform, you kind of know what you need to do, and you can just come in and do your routine like this. And what that goes back to is when it comes time to pull tape, you don't want a whole extra bunch of stuff on there, because when you go to especially you got huge long runs. What I'm doing and I've got a bunch of tape in hand. You don't want a bunch of extra caulking on there, because then you just go, whoa, and next thing you know, you're wearing it.
Caulking everywhere.
Right. The more it gets on you, the more it gets on everything else. The more you're fucked. Pardon my French, sorry for.
Fine. They're all adults.
Usually have two. You can actually almost use either one of these, like, because the radius is similar. So basically what you do the first time, what I do is what they call knock it down. You're just doing this routine, just knocking it down a little bit. And on that run, all you're doing is making sure that the joint is full. And how I can tell that is I can feel drag. See, there's some skin right there. See that little chunker? So once you realize that that's all film, how you can tell is it would be a little drag on the slick. If it goes like that, you tell that there's not enough caulking in there. And that at this point you could just tool it. Like today, what I was doing on that job, because they're skinning up so fast, you just, even if it's a little overshot like that, you can come back and just cut a little bit of extra off. If it's on a job where it's hotter than heck, you can overshoot it a little bit more and just slice all that extra a little bit off. That way you're down to the goodness.
Yeah, like the wet stuff.
Yeah, so when you come back to tool it, and then what you want to do is you remember, okay, where was my tape at? And you're going to get your slick on there and go right to the edge of that tape.
Okay.
Maintain the same angle. And when you're doing all stuff, the less you use, the less you wind up. You probably want to try to keep a bunch at the ends. Once you get it all out by your hands, it's going to turn into a complete mess. You only want a little bit at the ends. You got a whole bunch on here trying to jockey it around. It's going to be a big ass mess at some point, or you're going to drop it. And trust me, I've dropped many pieces of. You've seen me wearing it too. When it comes to, that's why, okay, on the other ones, I'll leave a little tab like this. You see me always leaving those tabs. Well, I'll just leave that. That way I can come back and just grab it. It's one and done. I don't want this in here. One and done.
And my teamwork is so.
See, she was thinking ahead, right? All right. Well, I expect you suited up Monday at 6 o'clock site report, Locust and Lowell.
5:30, Mike.
Oh, 5:30, right.
I'll be there.
And then you won't be able to leave for lunch because the concrete guys will be in the way. Anyway, so, and then see, like, when you're an old guy, sometimes you get a little thingamajig right there, you can handle that. You just get a nice razor blade, and I'll just come back if I need to, if I feel like it, and just one and done that thing. And I know we're on a limited time frame here, so now we'll get to the, that routine.
I got a question.
Yeah.
We got 5 minutes.
You know how sometimes we have openings and we sit, we're not flush to the outside, we sit, recess back some. When you caulk, sometimes don't you have to like do like a bevel bead, right? Like it sits out some?
So you're talking about if this is sitting out here like this?
Yes.
So then, when I tape out here, I'm going to maintain like, it's going to be, it depends. It depends what size slick you're using, it depends what you're trying to pull off. You want it to for easier to be like 3/16 out this way. And there's a variation in 70 ways we're going to tape that, because you see me, sometimes I'm taping where I'm mimicking the sill can. I'll come up and there'll be like a little notch and then I'll come out for the header.
Yes.
Or sometimes I'll just find how far, come out 3/16, 1/8 inch out here and just maintain it all the way down, so when it comes time to slick it, I'm just one and done, depending where I'm at. If I'm up in the tilt up where you can't see it, or where you just blow and go. For other areas where I got some of those, our systems, these are real pronounced. So like, I'll tape up that way and I'll do my little, that was the other thing. So over here, everybody's always asking, corners. We didn't do a corner.
45 it?
Yeah.
So if we want to go down, you're going to pull a little bit like this. Get your nail, hit it like that, let the tape do the work, let it set that corner, you're done. Okay, if you want to go that way, you're just going to, so if we're going that way, think about it, you want to pull it the opposite way where you want to go. But you don't want to pull it a lot, because then you're going to leave a flap, too big a flap, that when you come back and try to tool it, that flap's going to be all in your goods. Nail, just hit it out like that, make sure that's set, let the tape do the work. One and done. See, even that one has a little bit too much. Want to go that way, go up. I want to go this way. So when it comes time to get done, you just one and done. I'm gonna do it one more time. Or somebody want to try it? Look. When I first learned this, I was like, this is great.
When I first seen the cockers doing that, like,
Did you know how many pages I turned on it? Like, dude.
I was like, how do you do that?
I'm like, dude. I see him over
That's a
there.
lot faster.
They're trying to do this routine with the get the razor blade and they're all. I'm like, bro, come here. For 1 second. Watch. Okay. Whatever way you're going, just a little bit the opposite way. We're going that way. You want to go this way on your, love that. Out. Let's set the corner. Come down. We're going this way. And pull it up a little bit that way. The opposite direction where you're going to go. Always make sure the tape does the work, because if you try to force it, it doesn't want to set that corner right there. And go that way. This is on this side of the line of the tape. Always push that way. Actually, this way. One time. Same thing. Like I said, always let the tape go. Try to force it, and it just pulls up, and you can't make that nice tight corner. But you come to pull it. So then on these expansion joints, like yeah, we got hooked on that a long time ago. It was like one time we were doing something, I suggested, hey, we could do this. It's basically we're trying to, basically what that is, it's this, an extruded piece of this. So basically it's just a printed out. You see the Band-Aids I do, it's the same thing as that. I just do them, like I was just saying, if I was gonna make one of those things, I'd put 2 pieces of tape like this, run a bead of caulking across that, and then I'd come back with this, smooth it out to an 1/8 inch thick, and then pull these down like that. I would cut off straight corners on that, and you'd have wind up with a extruded like that 1, 2, 3 tape. That's all that is. 1/8 inch thick, 2 inch wide, 3 inch wide, same exact thing, but it's one and done. And the reason why where that came from, initial uses was, so if we went out to a job, like say a tilt up, where the caulking was failed on the vertical joint, you had urethane in there and the urethane was all failed, you would just prep the edges, shoot silicone down at either side of that failed joint, and then stick that stuff on there.
Oh, yeah. I've seen that.
That would be that was the initial use of that
It's
stuff.
like a patch.
Yeah, you're just patching over it and you're going from old ratty ass urethane to a silicone joint. And number one, you're not trying to grind all that out, abrade everything, cause a big mess. And if it's vintage stuff, God knows what's in there. Because you can get into all kinds of fun stuff. You start digging into all that stuff. So, yeah, so we were doing a job and then it was like, hey, I thought, hey, well, you were trying to do vertical expansion joints, and we said, hey, we could pre-glue this stuff in there, and some other applications that worked out, and the next thing you know, we're running and gunning on everything. But I kept saying, we could use this, because yeah, when you get to a problem and you try to get it into these corners, the 1, 2, 3 tape's too thick.
Yeah.
It doesn't want to, and it wants, do all the shenanigans.
Wants to
So
round. Yeah.
basically with this stuff, my stuff out. Once again, 70%. And even this thing that we did, so you got 4 seconds, you got 2 minutes, you got So basically same thing.
Yeah.
70%, not 99%. You want to clean it out as far as you think you're going to go, but then come back with the dry part. Get it nice and clean. Same thing with the screw heads. The same thing. Actually, we haven't done any of those, but about that. So since these are the size they are, you want to have this stuff where you want at least a little bit of adhesion on either side. So this is going to work out perfectly, because if you look at how wide that is, that's going to, you can have a good 1/4 inch on either side plus have adhesion. And this stuff, these vertical, it's a pain in the ass. So, okay, so on. So you just want to center that gizmo. Actually, that's something.
10 seconds, Mike.
Fit in those,
Stuff it all the way in the corner.
yeah, it gets all the way in those corners real nice.
1, 2, 3 tape, I'll shoot beads in there, and then use my ruler to tuck those corners in.
You guys are really
Well, that's
tired.
what you have to do to compensate for it. But